All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I really didn't want to make a video, right? But something has been like, I don't know what to say. Like, I've been noticing things, right? I've been noticing stuff in the market, and it got me thinking. I was like, hold on, what's really going on here? So I'm going back in time, right? I want to go back in time. Many of you guys may have not been in the crypto industry back in those days, right? When stuff were happening. So there was a time when we had, a lot of competing blockchains coming up and trying to do something different. And they were truly, truly innovating the space, right? And this is the time when like Ethereum came out and many other cryptocurrency projects, including XRP and XYZ came out as well, right? And it was fine, right? Because they were coming out and they were all trying to bring out some new technology. Of course, for decentralization, BTC still number one, and for building like a supercomputer was Ethereum, right? So we had that, and then we had this massive pump during the 2015 and a half, like middle of 2015 all the way to 2017, close to 2018, right? We had this big ICO boom, right? Where people realize that, okay, similar like an IPO where they do the initial public offering for registered companies or companies that trade on the stock markets, they can do a similar kind of a thing for the coins, right? So they can start raising funds. And a lot of projects started doing this, and that's when we had the big ICO boom, right? And yeah, a lot of scammers came out and done this whole thing. We still have ICOs, we have IDOs, and we have many more now. And it's a lot more how would I say this, it's a lot of people are doing their research now, right? It's not just easy to get in, right? And of course we do have a lot more centralized authorities and centralized parties, right, like VCs and this and that coming in as well, doing their due diligence, which is a good thing, right? So the ICO craze that we had, that's gone past now. It's not an ICO craze anymore. It's more logical to do certain things now because a lot of due diligence, as I said, is being done. And then we had other kind of booms as well, right? So we have these booms and bust cycles, right? So the next hype we had was like meme coins, right? All of a sudden, we had Shiba Inu pop out, right? So this is like later on. And then there's this massive thing about memes, right? We even had one, I can't remember when, and it was during that previous bull market, right? Where we had the storage wars, right? So everybody's trying to make these storage protocols like the, what do you call this? Filecoin, XYZ, Arweave and whatnot, right? So we had this massive battle there. And then we kind of fell back into the blockchain wars again, where Solana, XYZ, and many other blockchains with more innovative ideas. And it was all about the throughput, right? TPS, right? Which is basically how many transactions per second they can do. So that war is still going on technically, but that's what the narrative was. So you can see how these narratives change, right? And then we're back onto like meme coins and whatnot and this and that. So we do see these, as I said, booms and busts, these craze in the market come up and down. But now I've noticed something, and it's thanks to some innovative protocols that were built years ago, right? People are now deploying their own blockchains. So we're back to blockchain wars, but this blockchain wars is different, right? This blockchain wars is different. This blockchain wars seems to be like, for example, I'll give you an example. You build on Avalanche, right? You build on Avalanche, which is its own blockchain, has its own native ecosystem there. But then you can fork that on the Avalanche C chain and have your own private blockchain, right? That operates on a whole different level and actually works with EVM. So this is all about EVM compatibility. So you see this massive narrative there, right? So a similar way, like we see Solana, we see other projects, we see Celestia, for example, right now, right? Doing something completely different where it's able to connect multiple blockchains in a particular way, in a modular way, and create these cross-chain compatibility. So it's a big thing going on. And I think what we're seeing is like we're having these phases, right, where something becomes the narrative, and all the developers or whatever you want to call them, they all get in there at the same time. They start pumping the life out of it at the same time, right? And they do it in such a way where you get kind of confused or overwhelmed, one or the other, right? You get kind of confused or overwhelmed because there's so many out there, you actually don't know which one to pick up, right? So you may have known or heard of this, like a lot of you guys who have watched me from the beginning, you guys would have known this, right? I've talked about this many, many times where I've said, guys, always blockchains are the best projects to pick up, right? If you want to pick up a coin and you don't want too much risk, right? You don't want to risk your money or whatever, your funds or whatnot, right? The best options that you have is to actually invest into a blockchain coin, right? But I'm about to kind of put a stop to that because there's so many blockchains, it's just shocking. Like I'm looking at Ethereum layer 2 scaling solutions, right? The amount of freaking layer 2 scaling solutions I'm saying, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Excuse my language, but that's the truth. There's so many copy-paste blockchains now. It's like, what do you pick? I mean, we had Optimism and Arbitrum pretty much came out at the same time. One trumped the other. Fine. People all jumped onto the... It's the same thing. Couldn't understand it. But we already had Matic, which was already doing the same thing. So it doesn't make any sense to me, right? Of course, Matic now is more of its own native blockchain because in order to transact in Matic, on the Polygon network, you have to use Matic. So that says Matic is its own native blockchain. It does have Ethereum functionality as well, but it's its own native thing. Whereas in Arbitrum, Optimism, they have their own native token, but fees, you still got to pay in ETH. So if you're paying fees in ETH, to me, it's just another Ethereum, right? So this is the kind of stuff I'm seeing and kind of like, I'm like, what's really going on? What do I pick now? What do I pick now, right? You know, where do I go? Because I'm looking at, I'm looking at Sui and XYZ. They're competing with Solana, right? So you see these competitors coming out where one competes with the other, and you start looking at these and like, hold on, what do I pick, right? You can't have all of them because now we're going from hundreds of blockchains, we're moving into thousands. Just the same way when we did tokens and coins, right? So when we did coins back in the days, when we had coins, we had a few hundred coins, right? Originally a few coins, I should say, right? It was less than 10 probably, right? So we had a few coins and then became a few hundred coins, and then it became the token wars. So ICO, during the ICO time, it was all about tokens. And then we had tokens, which are now currently sitting at like, God knows, about 2 million tokens, right? And then now we're back to the coin thing, but the coin thing is kind of funny because there's so many blockchains out there. It's like, well, hold on, we went from a few hundred blockchains to now close to 1,000. What's going to happen now? We're going to go to 1 million blockchains because it's becoming so easy to deploy blockchains, copy and paste and do whatever you want. You can literally fork Ethereum, for example, and launch your own blockchain with 0 fees if you want now. You don't even need validators and XYZ. Think about that. The technology has moved so far and it's become so easy to copy and paste something. You can actually release a blockchain with 0 fees, absolutely 0 fees, right? And you know, people who transact could receive a reward in their native currency. And then when if you do want to collect some fees off them, you can if you choose to, but you don't even need to. You know what I mean? You can have one single system run everything. And that's what a lot of people are doing, right? They're running blockchains on freaking Amazon web servers, right? Google Cloud servers, right? You know, Microsoft Azure. What the hell is going on right now, right? So that's what I'm seeing. And it's just freaking me out. I'm like, whoa, okay, what do I pick now? You know? And this is kind of related to a question somebody asked me yesterday. Brother knows who he is, right? He asked me a question on WhatsApp, and he asked me regarding a coin called Curve, right? Curve Finance, right? And I looked at it, and I looked at the entire market, the chart for the entire market, and it looks like it's dead. It looks like it's dead. It's never ever gone back to its all-time high or even the launch price, right? It just looks dead to me, right? Yes, the protocol itself works. The protocol, people are using it with USDT, USDC. They're doing arbitrage and making a lot of money out there, farming stablecoin yield. But the actual project itself is dead. You know what I mean? It's dead in the sense that the coin isn't doing anything because people have realized, why do you need Curve? If you're going to go to a Curve pool and play around with USDC, USDT, and XYZ and earn yield from, why do you need Curve? You know what I mean? So that's the situation. So when we start seeing these blockchains, right, with the high TPS, right, oh, we're going to do 1 million TPS, I'm being hypothetical here, but imagine they say we're going to do 1 million TPS, and we're going to have these, by the way, very soon, right? We're going to be 10x the speed of Visa. Fine. One of them will win, not all of them. one of them will win. Somebody will have the entire market share. I was looking at the global trading for the last 24 hours, the volume of trading for the last 24 hours last night, right? So I was kind of busy with somebody and I was talking about a venture basically. And we were looking at exchange protocols, and I was kind of explaining how all of this works. And what we saw was the volume, right? The volume on Binance was $42 billion in a 24-hour period. $42 billion was on a 24-hour. And then the second one was OKX. And when we go to like some of the older ones like Gemini, Coinbase, they were only like about 200 million to billion. Think about that, 42 billion and 200 million, right? So you can see the volume that is going through some of these protocols. And we were talking about that, and I was like, think about it. There's only one top dog. Everyone else is trying to compete, doing everything to take this dog off, right? And unfortunately, their volume could be even more, but they are being restricted with a lot of regulations and this and that. But imagine that you have an exchange which is partially decentralized, or maybe even fully decentralized. Imagine the volume go through that. But obviously, a lot of the DEXs that we have right now, say Uniswap, PancakeSwap, QuickSwap, whatever. I'm just gonna name a few, right? Whatever one of those, they're not easy. They're freaking complicated, and the fees are not cheap, right? So yes, they are there. We do have decentralized protocols which are not completely decentralized, but the point is they are decentralized. You can connect your Web3 wallet, go and do whatever you want, you know, and ultimately trade, buy whatever you want. But they're not 100% like easy to use or anything. Yes, they look simple in form, but when you go to use it, there's a lot going on, right? And not many people understand that. A lot of people, like I know majority of the people that, you know, I interact with, they just want to go, they're like, Sham, we just want to see a price, press buy and buy. Want to sell, we just want to press sell and sell. We don't want to go through all these craziness on fees and gas and this, that, whatever, because that's what the problems are. They just don't want to look at that. We just want to do one button and buy. So that's what I was looking at. And I kind of talked to a few people anyway. But anyway, listen, that's just another whole idea, right? But the point is we're looking at this, and then the brother was asking me, he's like, oh, where should I plug my funds and this and that, because I'm losing money on Curve. And I was like, funny, I would put it in Solana, right? And then it got me thinking. I was like, well, hold on, is it really Solana? Could it be Sui? Could it be Sei? Could these be those blockchains that have that same opportunity? Possible, absolutely possible. We could be having another Solana moment in Sei, for example, or Sui, for example, right? If we have enough developers come into that and build out an entire ecosystem, all right, and there's enough incentive for people to go there, I don't see why people won't. Because right now, Solana's given incentive, right? One, it's very cheap, very, very cheap to launch something or operate something on Solana, all right? And it works, like, how would I say this? The way it works is like Web2. Solana is as close as Web2 as it gets, right? Then we have other blockchains, complicated, they change the languages, they've got multiple different languages. Fine, I ain't complaining about the languages, right? And I think they're building enough tools for those to come out as well. But then there's so many more. It's like, hold on, everyone's attempting to do the same thing. Who do I pick? I can pick the cheapest one right now, but does it mean it's going to be the best performer? Or I can pick up the most expensive one right now. Does it mean it's going to survive? I'm in a bit of a limbo, right? So, but I just noticed, I was like, there's this craze going on, right? Where it's probably the same people, same group of people, as I say, right? Believe me, I completely believe from the bottom of my heart right now that majority of the crypto industry is centralized, right? Is freaking centralized. And they're trying to centralize BTC as well, right? I still believe they've centralized Ethereum to a certain extent. Maybe we're still sufficiently decentralized, as SEC would say, but that's because of how many people own it. But imagine if somebody or some entity or some corporations end up taking the entire power or take the majority of the portions of the tokens, then it does become centralized. Do you know what I mean? So there is going to be a lot of centralization going on, and a lot of these projects that are launching so-called decentralized projects are actually centralized projects, right? That Solana is technically a centralized project, right? But they're trying to become decentralized. I don't know when they're going to do it. Maybe when they do, they might pop and they might become another Ethereum, right? We might see a $1,500 Solana. I don't know, right? Say today it's sitting at what, 60 something cents, right? It could be another Solana where it could go pop to all the way to $100. We don't know, right? Sui sitting at 1 point something. Again, same difference, right? It could pop up, right? So I'm just mentioning a few, but there's so many more. There's so many more. We haven't even scratched the surface. There is so many more. I was looking at some new EVM chains coming out, or like, you know, where the new blockchains are, and the amount of list of blockchains I've seen, I was just shocked. And some of them are actually launching, and they have their tokens on the centralized exchanges as well. They're launching through the centralized exchanges. Like, what's going on? How many blockchains do we need? How many do we need? You know, I mean, what are people buying? You know what I mean? So it's just been really, really scary for me. And as I said, you know, it just got me thinking. I was like, what do I pick now? So I'm gonna basically kind of go old school and kind of go OG style, right? I'm going to stick around with the top ones, right? So my top picks are going to be the big boys out there, the ones with the highest volume in there, the ones with the biggest amount of money, the ones with the biggest amount of development, the ones with the biggest communities. They're the ones I want to be in. Honestly, I don't want to look at any other projects right now. I don't care. Maybe in a few years' time, I'll look back at them and I'll say, right, okay, I might want to jump into them. But right now, I don't want to risk anything because all I see is risk. Because I don't think all of these blockchains are required. And on top of that, all we're going to be doing is just funding. But are we going to be getting anything back from them? Do you know what I mean? Yes, if you know about the blockchain and you jump in right at the beginning when the price is zero, great, you've made money. But you're not going to ever do that because these blockchains are launching with a massive VC funding. That means the VCs have already got the discounts. You never get those. Right? So it doesn't matter what the tokenomics is, it just doesn't work out, right? That's why I want to stick around with the big ones like BTC, Ethereum, right? Solana, XYZ. So there's a few coins I'll stick around with, right? It's becoming tough, right? Believe it or not, right? When we had less amount of crypto, so the number of projects out there, it was easier to pick a coin, stick to your coin, trade a coin, buy, sell, do whatever you want. It was so much more easier. As the time progresses and as we get more and more cryptocurrency, more and more coins, it's becoming more and more harder to find that 1 gem or 10 gems, you want to say, right? So hodl, right? Hodl, there's only 1 or 2 projects I will ever hodl now. I will not hodl anything else, right? So this is what I just wanted to say here. A message is I'm not going to be hodling everything because I don't think that's the way to do things. Right now, it's all about get out, make your money, you know, because you want to keep your dry powder. Because what's happening, what I can see is when the liquidity is pulled out from the market, when we decide, okay, bull market's over, we want to go into a bear market, a lot of people are going to suffer because too many people have diversified themselves too much. Diversification is brilliant, but when you diversify into these new blockchains and new projects, they're going to suffer a lot. So just be cautious. That's all I'm saying. If you have made money or if you're making money, please, right? And this is not a financial advice. Do whatever you want. But I am like kind of urging everyone, just stay cautious and at least take your initial investment out. Don't risk your initial investment out because you are going to get wrecked, right? With what I'm seeing right now, it's getting dangerous right now. You know, when you got the big boys, the big fish, the big money backing up these projects, right? You got to be worried, right? People wanted the institutions, they're here now and they're taking over, they're taking control. They've understood the narrative. They're like, okay, if we're going to make $2 billion, we're going to invest $200 million. And they're doing that. You know what I mean? To make billions, they're investing, you know, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. They're doing that. They're not worried about that. Marketing, they got no issues with that, right? They'll spend $100 million on marketing if they have to make a project worth $10 billion. Do you know what I mean? Right? Everyone's going to be excited. Oh, the market cap is sitting at $2 trillion now, or $3 trillion, or maybe $5 trillion, right? But what you don't understand is it's those little projects that are coming out right now. These blockchains, these ecosystems, whatever they're coming out with, right? They have the biggest funding out there and they have the biggest market makers out there, so they can continue and pump these coins and make 10x their money, right? Before it even comes to the market. So think about that, guys. That's why I'm being very cautious now. And it actually kind of urges me to continue on my pursuit Those of you who watch these videos, who know about me, you know I'm working on a project, and I've kind of got into a bit of a hiccup, so I'm kind of fixing everything and then moving back out again, and this time coming out bigger, better, stronger, even changing the freaking logo. That's how it is, changing the logo. I've done the website, you know, I've got all the contracts and everything sorted out now, so it's a matter of me just deploying it. But one thing I am not going to do is I'm not going to put liquidity in yet, right? So this project will launch, this project will do the airdrops, all of that will be done, but I am not putting any airdrops, any liquidity at this present moment, right? I will do liquidity later, because what we want to do now is, instead of the liquidity, originally I was just going to give it all away, but that doesn't help the project, right? And I've noticed something: you give people free stuff, right, they don't appreciate it, right? They appreciate when they charge for something. So I'm going to give people free stuff, and I'm going to charge them through a pre-sale as well. The pre-sale funding is going to go towards the development, the future development, and it's going to go towards the liquidity as well, right? So I hope everybody understands this, and I'm being transparent, right? How many people do you know on YouTube, right, or wherever, on personally anywhere, that you know, if they've had a problem, have they ever mentioned to you? How many people do you know that will ever tell you something bad has happened? I can assure you nobody will, right? Especially on something like this, they will never tell you. Why? Because they just want you to be hyped and be happy and see all the good stuff that is happening. They will hide it. They will put it under the rug. They're never going to, they're not going to rug pull you. They're going to fucking hide it under the rug. That's what they're going to do, right? But here I am. I'm being honest with you. I'm being humble with you. And I'm telling you everything as it is, transparently, that this is what's going to happen. This is how I'm going to do this. You know, whether you like it or not, you know, I hope you like it, because at the end of the day, I'm being transparent, right? So, but other than that, guys, I'm not going to talk anymore. So I am going to be updating some of the project stuff, and yeah, we're gonna grow, guys. We're gonna grow, build the community, number one. So my roadmap, number one roadmap right now for the project that I'm about to launch, is community. We are building community. Means airdrops, freebies, go and claim. I'm going to create a claim page. I don't even need to airdrop to you. Fuck that, and do bullshit like that, right? It does my head in, honestly. I was going to do airdrop. I am going to do it to the original people who joined, so you are going to get your airdrops. But anybody else, the new marketing, the new promotions that we're going to be doing, there's a claim page. Go and claim. Go and claim, right? Yeah, you might have to pay a few fees, but go and claim, because at the end of the day, you know, you're getting it for free, right? I'm sure 1 cent isn't going to hurt you at all, right? But if you do that, it helps the project, right? Maybe 1 cent fee, 2 cent fee, whatever. But we're going to be deploying that onto, so we're going to be verifying that onto the blockchain. So whatever you buy with, whatever coins you get, whatever fees you pay, they will reflect and they will show up, so people will know that there was an airdrop there and this and that. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to do something crazy. I'm going to change the tokenomics and everything as well. So honestly, you know what, I've done the easy things, right? The easy things, like, you know, I've tried to launch it in the most easy way. But as I said to everybody, I'm not a developer, and believe me, for me, it's been very, very hard trying to do what I want to do. And of course, I haven't mentioned a single name here, but you guys that follow me know what I'm talking about, right? So, you know, not being a developer, learning the hard way, that's the only way I can learn, right? And that's what I'm doing right now. I've been learning the hard way, and I'm like, okay, fine. Every step I take and every situation that becomes a problem to me, I'm going to defeat that, and I'm going to conquer it, and I'm going to beat it. And that's what I'm going to do. So that's what I've been doing. So, you know, even though I'm not on the videos, there's a reason I'm not on the video, guys. Whole reason is, what's this to say, right? When we talked about the market, we talked about it. Previous videos, I've been shouting and screaming that, look guys, we need to have a correction, we need to have a correction, we need to have a correction. We ended up having that correction. The correction took us below 40k but above the 37k, which is brilliant, right? We talked about it. As long as we stay above 37k, we are still in a trend. So far we are still in a trend. So there's this energy, there's this force building up on the weekly. You got to look at the stochastic RSI, the RSI, and you'll see this force being built, right? Where there's so much energy, like it's like a rocket is about to lift off, right? You can't just lift it off without fuel, right? So this rocket is about to lift off. That's what I'm seeing so far. So when that does come, we might see massive moves. BTC, I'm looking at 5-10% moves on the upside, provided we don't crash or anything right now, because we might have a fake out and then people might do a rug on us, or like just pull the liquidity. If they don't, and this market continues, then I could see a mega push coming forward. Hopefully I'm not worried about this week. Hopefully next week. Next week is a very crucial, important week. Even if not next week, do you know what? Middle of the month, I ain't complaining, right? So what I'm looking at is the Sundays. I'm not looking at Mondays or anything. I'm looking at the Sunday. So this Sunday close, not concerned, but the following Sunday close is very important. At that time, if we don't lift off, then we should be ready enough to give us signs that we want to move forward, and then push forward, right? So far, we haven't got that. So that's what I'm saying. Leave this Sunday out. This Sunday doesn't mean anything. The following Sunday is very important. Following Sunday is very important. And just for context, right, or reference, guys, I'll just tell you, the time now is 2:55 p.m. and it's the 2nd of February 2024. So at least you know exactly what time I've made this, or around what time I've made this video, and I'm giving you the time, right? The current market, total market cap is sitting at $1.59 trillion. Ain't complaining. BTC sitting at 42,700. Absolutely fine. Not to worry. Ethereum sitting at 2,290. Again, not to worry. Solana sitting at $100. Looking good, actually, to be honest. Funny, this morning I was thinking about it. I had a little change left over from something I did recently, and I thought I might dump it all into Solana. And at that time, Solana was sitting at about $103. This might be my opportunity to jump into Solana. I was looking at Sei. Sei was sitting at, last night it was sitting at 64 cents, currently sitting at 63 cents. It might be an opportunity. So I'm just looking at those. I'm like, okay, provided the market is showing signs of bullishness, which it is so far, right? But it hasn't confirmed. So take this with a pinch of salt. It is looking bullish, but it hasn't confirmed the bullishness. And to confirm the bullishness, we need this Sunday to close. And then the following Sunday is going to be the important week for us, right? It could happen before, it might happen later. Either way, it doesn't matter. So we do have 2 more Sundays to move forward, but not this Sunday, coming Sunday, that is. The one after is a very powerful Sunday. So we need that one. That one's going to tell us whether we're going to go up or not. So even if I don't buy anything now, I'm not going to FOMO into anything right now. I'm just going to sit back, relax, watch the market. Might do a few, ins and outs, quick ins and quick outs, right? Maybe do a 15-minute trade, whatever. But I'm not going to go and deploy my cash and sit back and say, oh, that's it. This is it. This is the moment. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be stupid. What's wrong with you? I want to keep powder. I want to keep the powder, because if the market doesn't confirm, right, that bullishness that I'm talking about, and it decides to go down because it was a fake out, then I've still got my cash and I can deploy that. So I want to play in a way where I'm going to play with stop losses, right? I'm going to go in right now. If I buy Sei right now at 63 cents, for example, I will buy it. At the same time, I'll put a stop loss, right, just below that, just in case money decides to go out. Then I know I'm exited and I can actually buy lower, come back in again and recover my difference. So other than that, guys, 27 minutes. I didn't intend to make 27 minutes. It was supposed to be a 10-minute video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and I'll catch you guys on another one very soon. Other than that, like, share and subscribe, right? And leave something in the comment if you are bullish about BTC and this and that. And if you are bullish, now this is something I want to say, if you are freaking bullish about the project that I'm about to launch, you know what it's called. So write the name in the comment with a hashtag. Adios, my amigos.